Soulversation, got it from my son who's not here. Our goal, our desire is to share information. That's it. I'm not trying to go viral. When I see your faces and you come in and you spend your time with me, I just want to give you something that you can take with you and make your life better. That's all. And I'm trying to show, your life may be perfect the way it is. I'm just trying to show you something that I've seen that maybe you have not. We will define, name, create, and speak for ourselves. Say it with me. We will define, name, create, and speak for ourselves. There's another part that says, as opposed to other people speaking for us. Kujichagulia is the second principle of the inclusive style. And I didn't create it. Milana Kringa and people before us, him in a group. I never give one person credit because it's always this information comes from a group of people working together.
A village.
A village. And always it's those minds working together that presents the output. There are 7 of them. We're going to focus on Kujichagulia because it fits with our overall theme. Last year we talked about pretty isn't pretty. That was the idea. Well, I'll just say the reason we did that is because pretty isn't pretty is a concrete idea that you can see, that we're saying that the idea that you have in your head of this is pretty, that's not real. It's what you've been trained to see. Yes?
Yes.
That's what we're going to go. Before I get into it, let's go here. I put all the information in the videos that I've done. They're on this website. So you can go, and the purpose of the videos, and I can't show them, but here, it says video gallery. You can go there, and in the privacy of your own home, you can just sit and let those videos talk to you. Because it's scientific information. Today, we're going to talk about narrative and storytelling and how the way we receive information is important. Because sometimes, depending on the way the information is received, you take it in that way. And I'm going to give you an example. And that's not always good. It's about 24,000 years. And that's the time that it takes for our planet and our solar system to circumnavigate its place in the universe. And it too describes a cycle. Just like everything in our planet, everything in the universe is in a cycle. This is the cycle of our solar system. That's ancient information, old. It's been around a long time, but it wasn't introduced to you and I. It's just something you'll have to look into for yourself, but it's there for you. So now, I want to tell you a story, a funny story. There was a young man, when he was young, about 16, and teachers in here would relate to this. He got into some trouble, he was arrested, and they took him and put him in jail. I said it's a funny story. They took him and put him in jail, and he stayed there for the rest of his life. Well, they let him out when he was old, like 60, 70, real old. But he had been in jail all his life. So you can think about the things that would have happened to him while he was in jail, right? He had to live his life in what we call prison. Is that funny? Is that funny to you? No. But we left all the way through it. What is that? About life, right? And isn't that what happened to that young man? Yeah. And we laughed all the way through it, right? Because of the way it was presented. Oftentimes, our pain is presented to us as comedy, and we laugh at that. And then when you learn to laugh at yourself, you no longer feel the pain from that.
Desensitized.
Yes. And it comes in up under your understanding. It sneaks in.
Subconscious.
Yes. Any questions, any statements? Moving on. This is the science of how we see. Kujichagulia, and this is on your page. This is important to understand. This is what you will, actually I taught this to 7th graders. This is actually the way our eyes work, right? The science of your eyes. And we went into in depth in this last year. If you want to know about it, in depth is on one of the videos on the web page. Here we go. In order for you to see 4 things we do, you need to have a light source. So before all this artificial light was created, we just had the sun. So we would rise and shine with the sun, right? Rise with the sun, go to bed with the bell. Light has to shine on the object. This is in your note. When the light shines on the object, that is then reflected to your eye. Your eye sends it to your brain. Your brain tells you what you're looking at. That's how you see objects. Everybody understand that? Light, try this at home. You cannot see in the absence of light. You have to shine the light on the thing, and then what you're looking at will be to your eye. That's crucial because light shines on the object. Object goes into the brain. The brain tells you what you're looking at. Where does the brain get that information? Is it born with it? No.
You see it over and over again.
Exactly. So those images, and that last year we talked about beauty, but it's not just beauty, it's still everything. Everything comes through your brain, and then you hold on to that, you believe that, and you live that. You make it reality. Whether it's true or not. That's important. You see the image? And you know, it's actually a complicated process. This turn goes in upside down, your brain turns it right side up. All that, you know, we don't want to be an optometrist, we just want to understand the basic idea, right? So the question then becomes, if we're going to name, create, and speak for ourselves, right, Kujichagulia, we have to start defining the world for ourselves. Because in truth, honestly, based on what we just said, what we've been taught is not real, it's an illusion.
Right.
Our image, our ideas, everything is all an illusion.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Does anybody disagree with me? Don't you want to speak on it? I tell you, it'll be more interesting if you speak. But okay, so here you have this beautiful baby. And my girlfriend just had a beautiful baby born into her family. It comes into the world, and immediately it starts receiving information about the world. Now, think in the past times, before slavery, it would have been the mother's job to give this baby everything it needs, the love, the compassion, right? Nurturing. And the baby, once it comes into the world, it can tell is it loved or not. How? Basically by what it feels, right? The mother cradles the baby in its arms. It feels nurtured. The mother takes the baby and sits it down in front of the TV because she's too busy, right? So you can understand all of this is input that the baby is receiving. Think about our children, because I've been in the education system for a while. And our babies in these schools make you cry. Because you understand when you see them and you see the behavior, when you understand why they're behaving the way they are. It's not because they're bad.
Right.
It's because they're untrained, maybe unloved.
Environment.
Yes. And that's so crucial for us to understand. And for me, and some other educators in here, it breaks our heart. But then our arms are kind of tied. Because the system tells us what we can do, what we can't. Because we know how to correct them. We could correct them. But our hands are tied. You see the words going in, love, black. And then last year, if you go look at the presentation last year, I shared some cards that our students had created about the way they feel about themselves. And just do yourself a favor, talk to a child and pose those questions and listen. And you'll see that many of them don't have love for themselves. And that's whole. That's sad. Hard to build because you don't have love for yourself. All right, so here come the words. Love, good, black, white, pretty, ugly. And there's literally no such thing as pretty. You understand? It really isn't. That image that we've been given, and I ask students, well, who do you think is pretty? You know where they always go to first?
A white dog.
Or some celebrity, a black celebrity. And that black celebrity normally is an imitation of the white
Blonde wig on.
So, the question becomes, as we think of narrative, as we think of self-determination, as we think of pretty isn't pretty, the question becomes, what else is stored in your head? Now, let's talk real quickly about how did it get there. Now, I'm going to share with you, as I was growing up as a child, there were some things that I would hear from my father, and my father was my love. I was raised by my father, I didn't have my mother. So, what he said was crucial to me. And you're gonna find that that's true for children. If you find out the person that they love, what that person says is crucial. Not everybody, because children don't even learn from people they don't like. If they don't like you, they come to class, they shut down. They don't even want to hear you talk. So the first thing you do is you have to get their appreciation, their not love, but they have to know you feel. But the question becomes, so what is stored in our brains? And we're gonna do a little exercise. First, I'm gonna share with you, because my father was crucial, important to me. These are the things that he said to me that stuck out. When I first met my husband, I would always say, Daddy said this, Daddy said that. I said it so much, he thought that my daddy was his daddy. And I'll say, Daddy said what? All right, but this is what Daddy said. Daddy always told me I can do anything I set my mind to. And I believe that.
Praise God.
I said you can do anything you set your mind to. But you gotta set your mind to it. I believe that. Next, don't follow anybody. Think for yourself. These are our core foundations. And I'm not saying they're all great, because it has kept me out of some things too. Right? You have to balance it. Everything requires balance. Next, learn to be content in life. So I'm not real materialistic. I don't have to have the finest car. I don't even look for it. I don't wear an expensive bag. That won't be me. Learn to be content with what you got. We raised our children, you'll have everything you need, for what you want, but not everything. They had to learn to be content too. Always save some money for a rainy day. All y'all heard that one before, right?
Oh.
And guess what? It's about to start raining, isn't it?
Been raining.
So, okay, the thunderstorm is coming. And I always heard I knew my father thought I was smart. And not that he would tell me so much, but I would overhear him. Because he wasn't like a real emotional guy, but he was my heart. So the things that he said were important to me. There's a real quick story, then we'll be back. So,
He was your blueprint.
yeah. When I was born, my father, everybody told me, well, some people told me he wanted a boy. I was born a girl. So, I used to like to do things to make him proud. If I could make him proud, that was important to me. Likewise, if I disappointed him, that broke my heart. He didn't have to whoop me. All he had to say to me is, Elizabeth, you disappointed me. And I'd go in the corner and cry. That's true. Everybody don't feel that way, but that was me. So, I was running track. Because you want to impress your father. You want to make him feel proud. So I was running track, 440. I was third leg on the 440 and did okay. But then I ran the 440 by myself, like long distance. And I was out there running my heart out. I think I came like in second place. So I thought it was good. I thought that was good. And then you know how you come in, you're tired, I was panting. My father came over to me, looked down at me and he said, Elizabeth, baby, you don't have to do this. This is too much for a medal. Down to the feet. You know, I haven't run track since then. I haven't run or competed for a medal. So I said that to say people look at life differently. And that kind of set me on my path. Does that make sense? He was important to me. He didn't give a damn about a medal. He didn't give a damn about me making money for a medal. Some people do. But he didn't want to see me stressed out for a medal. Okay.
Every female marries and dates her father.
Say that again.
Every female marries, looks for, and dates her father.
Interesting that you just did that. It's true. Very true. There's my father.
Reflection.
Just like all right. You have a piece of paper. I do want you to think about, you guys can kind of talk, and write on that page, what are those foundational things that were said to you that have become your foundation? That is the way you build your life. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. But take some time and write down whatever it is that was said to you over and over. Now, for some people, it's not all positive. Some people have heard some negative stuff. That too can become a part of your foundation.
That's all I ever heard.
That's all you ever heard, negative stuff? Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Huh?
You said you heard negative stuff?
That's all I ever heard.
Like
Fucker, bitch.
see, that's real talk.
You ain't gonna. Hate the day I gave birth to you.
That's what you heard
What?
on a regular
Daily.
basis? How do you feel about yourself?
I'm the best.
How did you fix that?
Through study, through becoming a life coach and psychologist. I had to, in order to keep from killing myself and self-destructing. And come to find out, what I went through was to teach people going through God sent me through that to train me and teach me how to overcome that so that I could teach others that's coming behind me how to overcome such a negative stimulation, negative environment, self-destructive behaviors, self-sabotage.
That's real talk. A lot of our children hear that too on a daily basis. And it's hard to feel good about yourself if somebody's telling you a bunch of negative stuff about yourself. And especially if that's the person who's supposed to love you.
Right.
That creates confusion. Here's another little story for you. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Mr. Group's back there. My husband, when he was overseas reading a book, Destruction of the Black Civilization. You heard of that?
Chancellor Williams.
Chancellor Williams' Destruction. These books are what correct the errors and the flaws in our character that have been developed by this foundational stuff. But the truth of who we are is what corrects that. That's what I think.
Right.
But, can you tell that story?
I can.
Yeah, you could.
I was in a field in Germany. It was about 4 below zero, and I was in a tent. And my supervisor had given me this book, Destruction of Black Civilization. So as I was laying in the chair, I had been reading this book, and I'm a musician, so I was listening to music at the same time. So as I started to read, and it was talking about the greatness of Egypt and how we built pyramids, all this kind of stuff. But at some point in reading that book, and he was talking about the lineage of our destruction, where we started, and all that kind of stuff, the song "In the Stone" popped in my head. It said, "Never, never, my darling, never will you be alone. The truth is written in the stone." And at that phrase lit me up. And then I came back home. When I got back home, I pulled out all my Earth, Wind, and Fire albums, and I started, because it didn't, just seeing the covers originally didn't get me.
Yeah.
But once I heard that song and I got back home, I pulled out all my Earth, Wind, and Fire albums, and I started looking at the covers, and I was just totally blown away. Those guys have been telling us the whole time, and if you go back and listen to their songs, they're telling you who we are from the beginning, and that's what made them famous. That's why we like them so much, because their music didn't just, music is I don't mean to take over. As a musician, music is what civilizes us. Music is what connects our left brain and our right brain. It helps us think. That's the music in its highest form. Music is a form of mathematics in its highest form.
The word music means to think.
It means to think, but that's how we used it. So Earth, Wind, and Fire was dropping these bombs on us every day. And so, they saved some of us. It was just amazing.
Music. We dance to it. When their songs "Get Away," right? When they talk about getting away from.
Right.
But we couldn't see that or understand it without the information.
Right.
You see what I mean? But then once he had the
That
information,
seed being planted.
once he had the information, then he could see it. I want you to tell me a story or tell me a fact about the planet that you've never heard. Tell me something about the planet that you've never heard.
You never heard it, so how can you say it?
Right.
You can't. So conversely, everything that comes out of your mouth is what? Stories you've heard, which may or may not be true. You have to keep that in mind. Which may or may not be true. You see this video? I want you to see this one right here. You think these children will grow up and feel bad about themselves?
No.
That's our history. And you have to adopt that. You have to know that. The first people here on this planet were black people. And they went all over the world, populated the world. And in those different areas, they became different. You just have to know that. And then once you understand, like my sister was saying about the mitochondrial DNA, you are the mother and father of it all.
Right.
Now that's not said from some, it's just knowing. And then when you know that, you act different.
Right.
You know, what you think about yourself will be different.
Right.
Talking about narrative, talking about pretty isn't pretty, talking about the stories we receive, talking about separating truth from fiction. You and Elon Musk, because you hear, you recognize, understand. Every time they say Elon Musk's name, what do they say? Elon Musk.
Billionaire.
The billionaire Elon Musk. The wealthy, that's the narrative they're pushing.
The king.
How smart he is. Have you listened? Have you listened to him speak?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And educators would know that they don't come off that smart. Right?
Right.
And I'm not talking about he may butcher him now, but say, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
Ideas.
Exactly. They don't sound that bright.
Right.
But here we go. If you and Elon Musk on a deserted island, and he was sitting there on top of his millions, and you were on the island with a gallon of water, which would be in a favorable position? In the best position? Huh?
The man with the water.
Would you trade any of your water for some of his dollars?
No.
Because he would give me $50 for my water.
Well, the deserted island, his money needs nothing.
Dollars have no use.
The deserted island.
No use.
So we have to make that extreme for us to understand. It's the same here.
Right.
We need money, but it don't need to control us.
Right.
You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't even need to strive for that. Because greed is his own punishment.
Right.
Once you get on that wheel, you can't get off.
Right.
Billionaires, it's not enough.
It's a drug.
It's never enough. Yeah, they become rapacious, greed. You know, all of these things come from our ancestors. They say greed was a sin.
Yes.
It's a sin to the body. Yeah, it destroys the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get it. You wouldn't give them any of your water either, right? And I wouldn't either. Not even a sip.
Not a drop.
Because you don't need it. Who is that? Basically, I didn't know nothing about a Kendrick Lamar. Because I stopped listening to rap when I left, right?
Right.
But then this young man pops on the scene, and he's brilliant. And you have to recognize brilliance. And I don't say he's brilliant just because he's a celebrity, or because I'm saying he's brilliant as what's coming out of his mouth.
His creativity.
And what he's trying to show us, he's on a mission.
Yeah.
You can tell he's on a mission. He's trying to wake folks up. He's trying to wake up his community. And my question to us regarding him is, how do we create people who think like that? He loves himself first. You have to love yourself first. Then he loves his community, and then he loves others in that order. He wants to do something to make his community better.
Right.
How do we create those people? And why aren't we creating them? That's something to think about. It's rhetorical. But we can. It's possible. Yes?
We do. It's just not enough.
It's not enough work.
People to stimulate, educate, articulate the creative idea, and tell people, let black people know that they are the original gods. They are God. It's not enough of those people, and it's not enough people listening to those people when those people arrive on scene.
I just want to say, I think it is people in the community
Right.
that do like love the community, like out in Spencer, they have farmers and they have, it's a real community out there. They know each other for generations, but I just think they're not cool. They're not what's cool, you know? That's not what you
Yeah.
see on TV. That's
They're not
like
rappers.
what's popping is the person who feeds the kids in the community center.
Right.
Or, you know, the farmer that lets people go in the farm.
They're not white
You know, we
approved.
just had to redefine what's cool.
Yeah.
So, have you seen some breakdowns of Kendrick Lamar's halftime show? You watched some of those? And the breakdown, as somebody explains, because chances are I missed a lot. I'll just speak by myself. I didn't get all the symbolism. But this gentleman right here, and you also have it, he calls himself KOS Project, which means stands for Knowledge of Self. His breakdown is great. So if you want to, it's not that long. KOS Project. So, of course, everybody got the connection to Uncle Sam, right? So, real quick, we do have a minute. What do you think he was saying? Anybody? What do you think he was saying in his halftime show?
It's a game.
What's the name?
The way that we exist in America is a game. As long as if we choose to play the game the way that the dominant society wants us to play the game, then we will quote unquote benefit. But then if you choose to do it your way, which is a pure way that might uplift your community or be loyal to you know, your community, then they're gonna make you struggle. Just like Samuel L. Jackson said. You know, it's gonna be one life lost. So you want it to be difficult, one life gone, you know?
What's it?
It was like exposure, and he kind of tells you what happens when you go against the grain of the world. That was my thought. He was just exposing the game of America. As long as you foot shuffling and doing all the things, you cool, but when you try to stand up, then they come for you. That's why he said in one part, he couldn't say it because he couldn't get sued. So, you know, then he was just exposing.
Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we realize it's not set up for us to win, right?
Right.
So then when we see our children, you know, I guess I'm talking to the choir here, but then when we see our children acting up, it amazes me how people are shocked by that behavior.
Right.
And they talk bad about the children. But you know, if you see a child like that, that child is unraised. And then people will say, of course, what do they say? Well, it's the parents. Is it on the parent?
Not necessarily.
Well, yes.
It's the people of the parent, but it's still the same structure that created that.
Parents directly, society at large, indirectly. It takes a village.
Yeah, and the parents get tricked out first. So
Right.
now we're the generation where we talked a few years back when we said these babies are having babies. Well, now we're at the day of the babies having babies. And sometimes when we come at them as if they're mature, they're not, they're immature. That's why it appears to be a friendship between the parent and the child.
Right.
Because the parent don't even know any better. When I address a parent, I address the parent in the spirit of their ancestors or their grandmothers, because I recognize where they are, which stops me from seeing them like society sees
Right.
them. So then you teach them to where they need to be. And once you teach them, then you can talk to them. And then you have their support. But otherwise, it's just gonna look like the black warfare that's been set up. And if you follow how they came in with that mental health was set up for our children to turn against us. First it was like we have all these mental health problems, and then it became, you know, sometimes the way we were raised were toxic, and now nobody can stand to do anything. So now we hold our heads because it's too much. But if you go back to our, even slavery, we had the strength to go through everything, but we dropped the ball, and that's not our conversation anymore because of the fear that comes up, because we too, the adults, watch social media too much. If we decided at our school that we was gonna change the behavior, who is there to stop us?
Right.
And they would have to figure it out to come stop us, but up to the time that they come try to stop us, we can get a lot of headway, but people are fearful because just as much as our children are caught up, we teach them how to be caught up. Because we look at them and we say, oh my God, don't say nothing to them because they packing guns now, they'll shoot you. Well, all of them don't have a gun. At schools, they don't have the guns. And there are certain places in the grocery store that when you see them by themselves, they don't have a gun. You can see when they do. But we won't even cross that fear to talk to them then. So now, we are the gatekeepers for the ignorance that runs rampant through our community.
Say that again.
We are the gatekeepers for the ignorance that runs rampant through our community because if we really believe in God and God got our back, why are you then scared to say something to anybody that's black? Black people understand if you pull us away from that crowd and you start talking that talk, oh, they'll give you immediate feedback. They're not going to be hostile if you take them to the side and you speak to that God man and that God woman and bring them to where they're supposed to be.
So, as a community, as a group, and I don't disagree with that, but is it possible for us to catch them all?
No.
No.
Is it possible for us to change this system?
Yes.
No.
Not their system.
No. Not their system. God said, Revelation 18:5, come out of her, my people.
That's right.
We have to, our leaders in the 60s, like Sister said, we dropped the ball. Because we had leaders in the 60s that said, let's get out of here, let's leave, let's go build our own reality. I'm from Tulsa, we had our own reality that we built with our own hands.
You know, I'm going to interject right quick. I don't know if we dropped the ball or they took the ball from us. Like they're about to take the ball again.
They can only take what you allow them to take. We the God of the universe. You can't take nothing that I don't give you the permission to take.
See, I'm gonna have to, I agree with you and I feel your strength, but as long as we're talking about individuals, we're waiting for one person to do something, we ain't gonna ever get there.
Right. No,
we don't go together.
As an individual, I speak for a collective. Bible say I myself can do nothing. So I'm not trying to articulate for a certain person or.
Okay, so I'm talking about the us.
Right. But we have to develop the collective will.
Yes.
Just like the Kerner Commission report said, in order for there to be black inclusion in America, it's going to require two things. One, unlimited funding. Two,
they ain't gonna do that.
Hold on. Two, the national will, not an individual will. And they did do that. They earmarked $14 billion to go toward black inclusion. And then Lyndon Baines Johnson took that $14 billion and used it to fight the Vietnam War. Because they said if this doesn't occur by 1985, it would be too late. And America would be a total war zone that we see today.
And they're about to do it again.
Yes, ma'am.
The fact of setting the clock back and starting us over is something that happens in cycles on this. It's another thing. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm not saying I have the answers, but I do know that individuals may rise. You may be able to catch some individuals. That's supposed to happen. Because you have to have some people that others can look at and say, oh, if he did it, I can do it. My husband taught me a lot of this. Because when I left Oklahoma, I was of the mind that, just like my father told me, you can do anything you set your mind to. I believe that. Yes. And I still kind of believe that, but I also have learned to balance that with I can be a part of a community, and that community can do anything.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just me, because what happens to the individual?
Shot down.
They get assassinated. That's right. This baby wanted to say something.
It's your turn, man.
I want to say, sometimes, like, it doesn't even have to be great, just like you're saying, community. It's literally like, stop being so judgmental with each other. I don't know where we got, like, that heavy judgment of each other. I don't know where it came from. But it's like to sit there and judge another person when you know
Self-hatred.
that our experience is, we've had a heck of an experience. So give them some grace.
Yes.
You know?
Give grace.
Give them grace. And you want to help them? Help them. You know,
Well,
the clothes dirty, wash them.
You remember when we were small in the 70s, our parents taught us, if you don't have nothing good to say,
Yes.
keep your damn mouth shut.
Yes.
And that, since we don't have parents anymore, that message has been totally wiped out and totally lost with the parents that have been wiped out and lost.
And many of the parents have been taken and thrown in jail. So we have many individuals raising themselves. It happens, you know, and because the justice system is not just, we can find ourselves in prisons like the beginning of the story for a long time. And it's not funny.
Right.
There's nothing comical about what's happening to us.
Right.
But they present it in a comical way and we find ourselves like that.
Right.
You guys, we're going to close right here again. We thank you for your time. I hope you got something good. I end with this. We end with this symbol, and that's a symbol out of ancient Egypt. It represents a human head on an animal body. And many people will tell you what they get out of this, but for me it says that we must cultivate the mind to control the animal nature. Because we have an animal nature.
Yeah.
And that animal nature, if you don't train it, it gets wild. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
But with training, you subdue it.
Right.
You teach it how to deal in the world. Again, thank you guys for coming.